Hey everybody, this is Tech and Data Tips for Business People. We're going to talk about saving time by automating data loads into Excel. Something I've noticed is a pretty common thing business users have to do is they have to extract some file from an ERP system or a data warehouse. And they have to take that file and they have to do some manual changes before they're able to use it to analyze data or to share with other people. They might have to remove some unwanted fields, some rows, etc. And they may have to do this on a regular interval, whether it's daily, weekly, or some other time period. And typically what they have to do is do the same thing over and over again. The fields in the data doesn't change, but the rows might change. So they'll have to do this formatting every time they download a new file. So let's just kind of walk through an example. Let's say we downloaded the CSV from an ERP system. And when you open the file, you have to get rid of this set of rows at the top, which are not useful. And oftentimes you might also have to get rid of some columns that you don't want. So let's say we don't want the timestamp. And let's also say we don't want these two columns here next to team. So we get rid of those. And then we might want to turn this into a table. And because this is a CSV file, we can't save it as is and then hope to open it and get the same formatting. We need to save it as an actual Excel file, not a CSV. So we have to go to Save As and save it as a Excel workbook. So now we're done, and although that may not seem like a lot of steps and doesn't seem like it takes a lot of time, in actuality, in practice, a lot of times people do have to do a lot more manipulation than just that. It could actually take them 10, 15, or even 30 minutes to do all the stuff they need to do, and they might have to do it every day or they have to do it every week. And if you add up all that time that they use to do the same repeated steps over and over again, the time wasted can be really substantial. So alternately, what you could do is instead of doing this stuff manually every single time there's a new CSV file update, what you could do is just open an Excel file, and assuming that the CSV is still where it is, we can load the data using something called Power Query. So you go to Data in Excel file, go to Get Data, From File, From Text CSV. And then you can click on the file that you want to load. You can upload the data as is, but as you see, we have to do some manipulations as we did before, otherwise we're going to get a lot of this stuff that we don't want. So instead of clicking on Load, we'll click on Transform Data. Okay, we want to get rid of these rows here, so we can click on Remove Rows, remove top rows. There's 7 rows to get rid of, so type in 7, okay. Also notice that they have these column 1, column 2, etc. as the column headers, but we don't want that. We want the first row to be the column header. So what we'll do is go to Transform and click on Use First Row as Headers. And then recall from the previous file we got rid of the timestamp field. So you can click on the timestamp field, go to Home, and remove columns, and then do the same thing for these 2 columns that we got rid of before as well. So this is all we did to the previous file, so we're done, and we can close and load. All the data gets loaded into this Excel sheet, And if you compare this file with the previous one that we did all the manual stuff to, you'll see that they're actually the same, which is what we want. But the difference is that with this series of steps that we did in Power Query, as long as we, in the future, if we have a CSV that gets downloaded from the ERP system and it gets saved in the same spot in your computer, as long as it gets saved in the same spot and the fields are the same and in the same order, then you don't have to go and do all those data manipulations over and over again. All you have to do is you just have to open this Excel file. You have to click on Data and Refresh All. And you'll see that as you're clicking on Refresh All, this will indicate that it's refreshing. See, it loaded 256 rows. Now, as an illustration from what might happen if you change the CSV, let's say you go into the ERP system and download a new file next week, and there's some new rows. So to simulate that, we'll just go ahead and copy and paste that last row. So now we have one more row than before. Save the CSV, get out. And now note that there's 256 rows here, but when you refresh it, it's now 257 because it's now factoring in that new row that you added to the CSV. And then as long as you have more CSV files to update in the future, you can just continue to refresh as needed. And you don't have to do all those manipulations over and over again. So this is kind of just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Power Query. There's really a lot of stuff that you can do with it that can save a lot of time by automating a lot of the data manipulation or data loading steps that you might have to do. And instead of doing something over and over again and repeating yourself, you can use Power Query to just do it once and then kind of set it and forget about it. So hopefully this was useful for people that have never seen this before, or a good refresher. There's going to be a lot more to come as there's a lot more about Power Query and other tools. And so look forward to that. But for now, thanks for watching and have a nice day.